Culture Research Team. How can I help you? And back joining us in the studio for Popular Culture Research Team is Eugene's. Oh, Eugene. Eugene, hello to you.
Hi guys, Suck Friday. Not a happy Friday this
Split
time.
second, guys. It took like a split second. That went from happy to sad in a split second. Man, how you do that? You a scary person.
No, I'm not.
무섭네. 사람이
I'm so
무섭네.
sad today.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are very upset, right? No, well, not upset.
Not upset.
Not upset because, she's going to do big things.
Yes, true.
Right?
She's our Nemo.
Yeah. She's our Nemo.
She's our Nemo.
Who's
Just love
her
Nemo.
daddy?
Maybe you.
Me? But she's leaving me though.
Oh, yeah.
That's not Nemo.
Nemo leaves his dad.
Nemo's going out looking. Oh no, Daddy's looking for Nemo, right? It's the other
Yes.
way. Not Nemo's looking for Dad. No, but in Nemo 2,
I didn't see
Oh,
Nemo
you watched
2.
Nemo 2?
Only Nemo 1.
I think in Nemo 2, he goes out looking for Daddy.
Oh, really?
Yes. There's gonna be a Buyong 2 where she
Oh,
goes, please
yes,
take me
right.
back. Please take me back. I'm gonna be like, no, we can't. Now our guest is doing so well, we can't.
You have to bring her back.
Bring her back for maybe something else.
Something else?
Maybe something else. Popular Culture Research Team.
What are you
I'm just
doing
kidding.
right now,
Guys,
SJ?
fans of Yujin, I'm sorry. This is the last week for this drama, Hell is the Other People.
Yes.
Very, very scary. So what are we going to be talking about today?
So this week we're going to talk about something a little different, which is Korea's funeral culture. So in the episode, Tae-ho, who's Jong-woo's 선배, and the CEO who has been making his life so complicated. Remember we talked about 선배 culture last week. Anyway, he eventually gets killed.
Just like everybody.
And despite everything Tae-ho put him through, Jong-woo still goes to the funeral. And that actually reminded me of something Koreans say, which is 경사는 안 가도 애사는 간다. It means you can skip a celebration, but you never skip a funeral. Even if you didn't like the person, even if the relationship was difficult, you show up because in Korean culture, being there when someone dies matters more than being there when something good happens.
Hold up. This is an actual saying?
Yeah.
My dad told me this, and then he made it sound like he came up with this.
Oh, really?
And so for the longest time, I agree with this. I've been to I skip weddings sometimes.
Oh,
because I
wedding.
might be busy, right? Because I could be busy.
It might happen.
But I'm never busy for funerals. I always go to people's funeral, and it's because my dad always told me you don't have to go to, you don't always have to go to like
The
celebrations, but you always have to go when there's mourning. And I thought he came out with that, and it turns out, Dad, it was a Korean saying.
Yeah, it's a Korean saying.
So let's talk about what a Korean funeral looks like, because again, it's very different from what you would see in the Western culture, and every culture has a different funeral.
Yes, very different. So most Korean funerals last 3 days. It's called 3일장.
Yes.
And here's what makes it different from a lot of other cultures. There is no single fixed time when everyone has to show up together. Like the funeral hall stays open for all 3 days, and visitors come whenever they can. You might go on day 1, your colleague might go on day 2, your friend on day 3. So it's completely flexible. You just show up during opening hours and pay your respects. And on the morning of the 3rd day, the family packs everything up and heads to the crematorium or the burial sites.
Yeah, so I think this is the other thing that makes it a little bit easier for people to come, is because it's not a one-day thing.
It's like 3
Because
days.
let's say like you could be busy, and like if you miss it, it's a
Yes.
terrible thing to miss. And so usually for me, like rule of thumb for me is I always go on the first day, on the day
first
of.
day.
But recently there was a time I couldn't go on the first day, and so I went on the second day, which works out really well. And others come out. Usually, like most people go on the second day.
Yes, it's
Right? Second day. And traditionally, though, people would actually stay overnight at the funeral hall.
Yes. So close family and friends would stay through the night with the bereaved family, like keeping them company company, getting through those long, dark hours together. And these days, visiting hours usually end around 10 p.m. And even the immediate family often goes home to sleep and get back to a funeral hall. But what has not changed is this. Close friends still take turns staying by the funeral hall for all 3 days, like greeting visitors on behalf of the family. Because honestly, when you have just lost someone, you can barely take care of yourself. The grief is too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Having people there who just handle things for you matters enormously.
Yeah, so there's like options. Like some people want to be at the funeral hall, even overnight. So there's a separate room for the family. It's not a big room though.
It's
like
quite small.
It's small, and so like you could lie down and sleep.
Yes.
But there's not whole lot of sleeping that goes on. But I've heard that also, close friends used to like, you drink. There's alcohol provided. There's food provided, and all that stuff.
True.
And you talk to them, and be by their side. And I think people remember this more than anything, right? People could forget who came at the weddings. But people don't forget who were by your side during time of mourning. When you actually visit a Korean funeral, we also have to talk about what you do because there's so many things that you need to learn.
Right. So
I sometimes even forget.
You sometimes even forget?
Yeah, I sometimes even forget.
But that's a very important one. So when you walk in, you bow twice in front of the portrait of the deceased, like a full deep bow, not just a nod. Then you turn and bow to the bereaved family. And traditionally, you would exchange a full bow with them. But these days, a lot of people just do a polite nod instead.
Yeah.
And the etiquette changes depending on religion. Like Buddhist families, you bow. Christian families, you might pray instead. And Catholic families have their own ritual. So if you're not sure, just follow what the people around you are doing.
Yeah, so with the bowing thing, there's like even like if you're a guy and if you're a girl, like which hand goes on top changes too. Also, how many bows you do, it's like 2.5 or something like that for guys, and then like I think for women it might be like 2.
It's a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing, but the thing is, things changed a lot these days. So like they went with the safer route.
Yes.
Whether you be Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, it doesn't matter. You just have like a scent, the scent, and you light it, you plug it in there.
Yes.
Or you do the flower. Right? You pull out the flower, put it on, and you just kind of close your eyes and you kind of,
pay respect.
And then you turn to the family and say, I hope everything is okay. I hope he's at peace.
Yes.
She's at peace and things like that. But here's where I get a little bit guilty. I feel guilty.
Oh, why?
I really like Korean funeral food. So, I really like eating at the Korean funeral homes because there's always food.
Yes.
But there's always a specific kind of food.
Yes.
And I really like it.
Okay.
Let's talk about the food provided at the funeral.
So the dish that is almost always served at Korean funerals is 육개장.
Yes.
It is a spicy beef soup with shredded meat and vegetables. If you ask why 육개장 specifically, there are a few reasons. First of all, practically it is easy to make in large quantities.
Yes.
It keeps well and it warms people up. But there's also a traditional belief that the color red wards off evil spirits. And 육개장 with its deep red broth was thought to protect the living during the vulnerable time of mourning.
Okay, see, like I never really understood. In fact, this was a question that when we had our staff meeting, I was asking everybody, why are we always eating 육개장? I mean, I'm not complaining. I like 육개장. But again, the whole thing that 육개장 is always made in large bulk.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it has meat, but I like the whole red thing. Wards off the evil.
And beyond the soup, there is rice cake, fruit, drinks, all kinds of food. And here's something that might surprise you. Eating at a Korean funeral is actually considered good manners.
Yes.
The idea is that it is the deceased last meal for their guests.
Yes.
So eating something is a way of accepting that final gesture of hospitality.
Yeah, again, I mean, I always tend to eat,
육개장?
and like they always have 전. They also have what is it? I forgot what it's called. But anyways, there's like certain dishes that I always like that happens to be there. But there's also something very important that you need to do. You know how like alcohol is provided too?
No.
Soju is always provided. At the funeral. With like you could drink or you don't have to drink. I usually don't drink at the funeral because I'm driving there. But you cannot do 짠.
Oh, yes.
You cannot you cannot do 짠. So sometimes like I had to catch like some people from not doing it because when we drink,
we'll always do the 짠
thing. we automatically do cheers, right? And we don't go cheers, but we do the 짠. You're not supposed to do it.
Never.
No.
Never. No.
This is not like a celebration. It's supposed to be it's not a good thing. So you just kind of drink quietly.
Yes.
And that's it. But also, do you know with I also heard that like depending on how they passed away, if they passed away of old age, it's considered a good passing. So you could be like everyone's loud. You could be loud. But if it was like a early passing, not a good passing, then people are kind of solemn. You try to be as quiet as possible.
True.
But again, finally you have the burial culture, and this has changed a lot in Korea too.
Yeah, massively. So Korea used to be a country where burial in the ground was the norm, like putting the body in the ground, often in the mountains. So over the past few decades, like cremation has become by far the most common choice. And one of the newer trends that I find really beautiful is 수목장, which is tree burial. The ashes are buried at the base of a tree, and that tree becomes the memorial. The idea is that the person becomes one with the tree, living on through it, growing with it, becoming part of nature. It's a very different philosophy about death. It's less about being preserved, more about returning to where we all came from.
Yeah, exactly. And again, there's so many different ways to do this. Each costs different, but again, we have limited land, so that's why burial is, less likely. But also, funerals have gone digital as well.
Oh, yes. So one thing that has changed is how we handle a person's digital life after they pass. Think about everything someone leaves behind online, like social media posts, photos, messages, accounts. In Korea, there are now services that manage or delete all of that on behalf of the deceased according to their wishes. It's called a digital funeral. And with privacy concerns growing, more people are taking it seriously. Also, more families are choosing smaller and quiet funerals, just only immediate family, no public visitation. Some skip the funeral hall completely. So in this way, Korean funerals are becoming less about a ritual and more about what the family actually needs.
That's right. And by the way, just like weddings too, like at the Korean funerals, you give money. By the way.
Yes.
And a lot of it is used to obviously pay for the funeral and things like that. All right, we'll continue to talk about Hell is the Other People as we slowly wrap it up. But first, let's take a listen to a song from Lee Chan-hyuk with Panorama. Back in the studio with Yujin for a Popular Culture Research Team as we break down Hell is the Other People for one last time. We talked about the funeral etiquettes and cultures and all of that stuff. What's our next topic?
Okay, so in the drama, there's a character whose name is Ho Jung-hwa. So she's a neighborhood police officer working at a 지구대. So we talked about 지구대 a few weeks ago, the local police substation. And what makes her character so realistic is what she actually deals with. Like in one episode, she is handling a dead cat. In another, she's at a murder scene. She does everything like from small complaints to dangerous situations, all of it often alone with very limited tools and backup. And I think this reflects something very real about Korean police culture right now. She's doing incredibly dangerous work without nearly enough power to back it up.
Yeah, the one thing that like I have some police officers in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like my grandfather, my late grandfather was like he was a police officer. I think he went to like 무궁화 3 무궁화s. 무궁화 is the flower of Korea, right? So instead of stars, my second uncle, he's 2 무궁화. He's retired now. My cousin is a police officer. He was in the special forces at one point. He's a police officer down in Busan. So I have but one thing that I always realize is that police officers now, not my grandfather's time, now I feel bad.
Oh, it's totally different.
I feel so bad for them, and it's unlike the kind of power that American police officers have. And I mean, they are armed, but different source of power, like it's different, right?
True. Mm-hmm.
They are armed though, right?
They are armed. Every officer carries a gun, but actually using it is a completely different story. Like there's a very strict step-by-step system. For example, if someone resists, you use your hands or pepper spray. If they attack you, you can use a taser. And only if they are threatening you with a weapon like a knife, for example, it is allowed to draw your firearm. But even then, it does not end there. Before firing a live round, an officer must shout verbal warnings, then fire a warning shot. So only after all of that can they fire at a person, all while the situation is happening in real time. I mean, in seconds.
Guys, it would be the point where if a police officer fires a gun, it would be on the news.
Yes.
Because it is very rare for them to be using that gun.
True.
Like you have to have like a gun. By the way, guns are banned. Like you don't have guns here in Korea, right? So unless you somehow have like some sort of weapon or like you're really posing crazy danger to a lot of people, they're not going to shoot. And so you better be doing some bad things to be shooting, unlike, in the US where like, they kind of draw the gun a little bit too often. So in theory, if someone comes at you with a knife, that's when an official can shoot?
That is what the rules say, but here is the reality.
Okay.
Even in that situation, officers say they hesitate because after pulling the trigger, you face detailed reports, intense investigations, and potentially lawsuits, even if you did everything right. And there was actually a case where an officer shot a suspect who was actively attacking him and still ended up prosecuted and fined. And here is a number that pulls it all in perspective. Over 9 years, from 2016 to 2024, Korean police fired live rounds at a person just 39 times in total. So it's roughly 4 times a year in a country that handles 20 million emergency calls annually. So the gun is there, but in practice, it has become almost untouchable.
Yeah, I've seen cases when a police officer shoots like 39 rounds in one person, so that's how it's rare.
It's rare.
And to be honest with you, I'm actually even surprised that this number is this high for Korea over 9 years. Because you rarely hear it. I think I did see the news recently, like a couple of years ago, I think, where with the whole report thing, they had to fight. And then what is it? Like the netizens were so upset because they're like, what? He should have shot him, So if the weapon exists, but the using it feels like a risk in itself for the police officer.
Right.
Jeez.
So one officer put it this way. There are moments when I feel my life is in danger, but I know that if I use live rounds, I will be facing reports, disciplinary action, and possibly a lawsuit, so it is hard to just act. And there have been real cases where it went tragically wrong. In 2024, officers in Gwangju were attacked by a suspect swinging a 25-centimeter saw. They were pushed to the absolute limit before firing, and several were seriously injured, and one of them spent 2 years struggling with severe PTSD and passed away earlier this year from the after effects. So these are officers who showed up to do their job, and when they needed to act, the system made it almost impossible.
You have to understand that police officers here in Korea, they don't have a lot of power. There's like even drunk people who would push them and be like, get out of my way, blah, blah, blah. You touch a police officer in the United States, that's a broken arm.
Yeah. True.
You get arrested right away. Here's a little bit different, but it was different back in the days when the police actually had too much power.
Yes.
And so they were trying to lower that, and what they did was just kind of like take too much power off from the police officers, which, speaking of which, let's talk about why it's so hard for Korean police to use their firearm or even when they're in danger.
Okay, so it goes back to history. Like during the Japanese colonial era, the police were instruments of oppression. And during the military dictatorship, people feared the police because like suppressing protests, arresting people for political reasons. And in 1980, during the Gwangju uprising, armed forces opened fire on civilian protesters. Like hundreds of people died. So in Korea, the image of police using guns against people is like living memory.
Yeah.
That is why Korean society became extremely sensitive about police firearm use. And as Korea worked to move away from that image, the rules got stricter and stricter to the point where officers now hesitate even when they clearly should not.
You know, it's kind of like this. You ever watch 범죄도시?
Oh,
What is that? What is that? The English title of 범죄도시?
I don't know exactly.
Man,
what
what's
is that? With 마동석?
Yeah, 마동석 범죄도시.
Like 범죄의 도시?
Wait, 범죄도시, right?
Yeah.
영어 제목. What is this called? Oh, the Outlaws.
The Outlaws.
Outlaws, the Roundup, No Way Out, the Roundup. There's
Punishment.
4? Oh my goodness, I got 2 more to watch. So in that, 마동석, you know, he faces all these crazy criminals.
Punches.
He uses his fist because he can't shoot anybody, you know? And like, come on now. That guy, you know, Chang Chen, that guy was a scary dude. I'd draw my gun right away, you know? It's pretty realistic, you know? I mean, I don't know if there's a police officer like Ma Dong-seok, but here's the thing. The public opinion, though, is now shifting back.
Yes, significantly. So there was a case in 2025 that really captures that change. An officer was attacked by a man with a 30-centimeter knife. He gave verbal warnings and fired warning shots.
This.
And when the attacks continued, he fired 3 live rounds, and the suspect died. The officer was not charged. It was ruled self-defense. And when the news broke, the comments were not full of outrage. They were full of people saying like, finally, I feel relieved.
Yep.
And compare that to the 2024 case we mentioned earlier where officers hesitated and one of them ultimately paid with his life. Like 2 very different outcomes.
Yeah.
And Korean society is clearly saying that we want more of the second case, not brutality, just the ability to act when it matters.
Yeah, I mean, you're just giving them too little power, right? I mean, too much power to the police. I mean, it led to some negative things back in the days.
Yes.
But when you give them too little power, how are they supposed to protect themselves, but also protect the citizens, right? When there's like, you know, situations like this.
It's still controversial, right?
That's right.
In
That's
Korea.
right. That's right. We'll continue to talk about other elements of this particular drama and things related to this drama. But first,
I love this song.
this is a good song. This is a good song. After talking about guns and stuff, this is Baek Ji-young with like being shot by a bullet 총 맞은 것처럼. Back in the studio with Yujin's for Popular Culture Research Team. We got a message in from Eng who says, "What an interesting topic. I was the designated cemetery funeral journo. My editors are psychos. It could be also because I am trilingual and can understand the bereavement company's ritual. In villages, some villagers used to gamble while snacking on peanuts while during the funeral, especially at night. I didn't like that, but my parents say it's a way to keep the surviving family members company." Actually, it's interesting you say that because Korea back in the days,
Back in the days.
they used to do that. Like they wouldn't gamble, but they would play like 고스톱,
고스톱.
right? Like not with money. Maybe because, you know, gambling is illegal here in Korea, but they'll just play games like that to, again, keep the members company. Overnight, they'll do it. And so it's usually at the house of the bereaved family, not at a funeral home. But thanks very much for that, Ing.
That's interesting.
We are wrapping up 타이는 지옥이다, Hell is the Other People,
Yes.
this week. It's been a long week, 5 weeks.
True. So since we have spent the last few weeks dipping in Korean horror, I thought it would be fun to end with some recommendations. So if 타이는 지옥이다 kept you up at night, here are a few more Korean dramas that will do the same thing. But first, let me talk about what makes Korean horror different from what most of our listeners might be used to.
Yeah, you have like this like uniquely Korean sort of touch to these like horror dramas, right? So like how is Korean horror different from Western horror?
So, you know, Korean ghosts always have a reason. They died with something unresolved, and that unresolved feeling in Korean culture, we call it han. So han is what drives them. They're not just scary, they are tragic. And that combination of fear and sadness is something very specific to Korean horror. And people often say after watching Korean horror dramas, they're saying like, I was scared, but I also felt sad. And that is the han talking.
So lately, you know, it's summertime and Koreans love like scary stuff.
Yes,
so
true.
my son, now he's in elementary school for summer vacation. I wanted to scare. I said, "Aaron, do you get scared easily?" He goes like, "No, I never get scared." Right? I was like, "Can I tell you about ghosts?" And he was like, "Yes." And I was like, you know why people become ghosts? And he goes, no, I don't. I was like, it's because they have han.
Oh, they have
And when
han.
they can't resolve the han,
The feeling.
they can't go to the next world. And that's why
Yes.
you become ghosts, right? He was like, what's a han, right? He's like, can you give me an example of han? And I go, oh my goodness. All right, Aaron, let's say Daddy passed away early, and I promised that we were going to drink wine together. We have that special wine that we're supposed to be drinking when you turn adult. And let's say I was not able to do that, I would have han. And I would haunt that cellar. That cellar's going to be haunted by me. And he goes, oh, right? And then next day, you know what he tells my mom? Because, my mom lives with me. He's like, 할머니, do you have any han with you? Do you
Oh, it's so adorable.
He's like, I hope you don't have any han. He's like, I hope you don't have any han.
You don't have any han.
He was like, 엄마, do you have any han?
Oh, so cute.
So this is the han, right? This is the han. So Korean movie is not just scary, but there's the emotional aspect.
Exactly. And then there is a zombie theme too. So Korea has zombie stories too, like Busanhaeng, Train to Busan, which became a global hit. But Kingdom took the concept somewhere nobody expected.
Yes.
It stars Ju Ji-hoon as a crown prince in the Joseon era. And then in the middle of all of that, a zombie apocalypse breaks out. And nobody had ever seen anything like it because it's Joseon era period drama plus zombies. It sounds bizarre, but it works completely. And we have a poster of this kingdom drama, right?
That's right. That's right. It was very popular. It got to the point where so many non-Koreans fell in love with this drama. They started buying kat.
Kat?
You know the kat? This is the reason why kat got popular.
Really? Because of this drama?
Man, all these young Americans be wearing kat and walking around the street, and I was like, "Why are you wearing a kat?" He was like, "This is cool."
Oh.
This was the drama that started it all.
Oh.
Yeah, the whole kat thing. It wasn't K-pop Demon Hunters that started it. It was this drama.
Because of this drama? I
It was
didn't know
because
that.
of this drama.
Ooh.
And so kat became popular because of this. But what other Korean horror dramas would you recommend?
Okay, so a few that I think our listeners would really enjoy. First of all, 동궁, which just came out on Netflix recently. It stars Nam Joo-hyuk and Do Yoon-seo, and it is set in the Joseon Royal Palace as well. The characters move between the world of the living and the spirit world. If you liked Stranger Things, that feeling of crossing between two different realities, 동궁 has that too, but set in a Joseon Palace. The visuals are stunning, and the horror is deeply rooted in Korean history and resentment or Han.
Let me give you the words of our famous critic, 이은서 PD님. He's a critic.
He's a critic?
He said this is more close to fantasy. It's not even scary. He kept on saying that. He's like, if you like silly horror, this is something you watch.
Ooh.
I don't know why he kept on saying. I haven't watched it.
Really?
I haven't watched. My wife is watching it right now, and I didn't.
Yeah,
really
it's more about fantasy.
Yeah, it's fantasy, but it adds elements of horror.
Yes.
Is what it is.
Yes.
What about something set in modern time?
Okay, so then 악귀, the devil, could be your option. This one really got to me. So this one stars Kim Tae-ri as a young woman possessed by an evil spirit. But what makes this drama special is its message, which is the evil spirit feeds on human desire and keeps growing. So the horror is not really the ghost. It is what is already inside us, like the greed, the loneliness, the desperation that humans carry. Oh, by the way, it's on Disney Plus. Oh, look at the poster.
I mean, it is a pretty aki. It is a pretty aki.
Pretty aki.
Yeah. Okay, so when it comes to Korean horror, like school ghost stories are also big too. I like these.
They really are. Every school in Korea has its own ghost stories, like rumors, legends, things that happen in the bathroom on the third floor or in the dream late at night. These stories get passed down from student to student year after year, and that story makes school horror incredibly effective because everyone who grew up in Korea has their own version of it.
That's right. And everyone has a version of the ARIRANG ghost stories. People that have experienced the ghosts, that's plural, ghosts in ARIRANG, everyone has a story about
in
this.
the third floor.
Third floor? Was it the third? The one I know is like the fourth floor in the basement, sixth floor too.
In the elevator.
Our PD님 knows. The elevator changed. Not anymore.
Let's stop here.
The elevator changed now. They don't come out anymore. After they changed the elevator and they stopped putting they didn't have the mirror anymore. They don't show up anymore. There's also a drama that just came out this year based on exactly what we talked about with school and stuff.
Yes, drama named Kirigo, which came out on Netflix in April this year. It starts with a mysterious app called Kirigo that grants any wish you make, but sounds perfect. But once your wish comes true, a 24-hour timer starts counting down, and when it runs out, you die. It starts as a high school thriller, but slowly transforms into something much darker. Like traditional Korean shamanism starts coming in, like rituals, spirit possession, and then the tension goes to a completely different level. This one is very scary, though.
I mean, look at the picture. Something about like schools, though. Always. Yo, who's that? Yo, who's that?
That's a ghost. It's a spoiler, though.
Oh my goodness! Why they got a selfie? Even Korean ghosts even have smartphones. Yeah, that's a Korean ghost, man. They be using smartphones, you know? That's a Korean ghost for you. Perfect picture there. Yujin, we have some bad news for our listeners.
Yes.
It is also your final time.
Yes. I want to say that I was so grateful so far.
For just this month. Next month you'll be back. Next month you'll be back. It was the last show for this month. But drama. Next month, August, we'll have a new drama to check out. So looking forward to it. Thank you very much for all that and more. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. See you next Friday. Bye.
And this is the original soundtrack from Aki that we just talked about. This is Ali with Revenant Aki.